Sponsors are not numbered. There's no numbering. There's no numbering of the documents that I have. What I have does not have, is not paginated.
Time, Chair, the time. We can have a perfect document because of the shortness of time. Yes. Under 311301, purchase of certified crop seed. It's 100,503,121.
So was this thing approved by the Assembly?
Definitely. It was.
Okay.
Do you have the approvals by the Assembly? Do you have evidence of approval by the Assembly? Now that I think is a question you need to complete.
Yes, once the Assembly approves the budget, it's not to be fastened. So really, if a copy is required, I can get it from my office.
Yes, it's important because that's an important question.
Because the budget, the approved budget is there, we can provide it.
Yes, I think that's important for the department to ensure that
It's provided.
it's available for purposes of responding to that question comprehensively. Okay, Senator Bass, any other question?
No, good.
Senator Ngoma?
Now, you have clearly indicated that it was budgeted for.
Yes.
I want to find out from your office if there is a clear inventory after the supply of these seeds, if there is an inventory of who received them, how they were kept, and by the time of distribution, if there is any documentation to that effect. So that you can be able to know that they truly supplied what has been given to us today.
Honorable Senator, the inventory is there of what was procured and received and how it was distributed.
Do you have copies of the delivery, whoever delivered, who received, and who was issuing the seeds as they were going to the field? The documentation part of it.
We have the documentation.
Please.
Which page is it? S13 for receiving.
Again, there is no pagination. I need to know, can you share that actual page, because we don't have...
This one is a bulk document. It's not contained in the report. The file is here.
So does that file have a list of beneficiaries and a list of deliveries, word by word?
Chair, what we have is a list of S13s. These are documents that you issue when you receive supplies. That have received this quantity of supplies, you receive with that. And then now you issue with an S11. We have them here. Now the person who receives with that S11 is the one who generates the distribution list, and it is there. All that chain is there. We can provide it.
So Governor, you're saying that you have a list of all the beneficiaries
Per what?
who received the receipts per word?
Yes.
Do you have it here? Can you table the entire set of documents? Can you table that?
We have it. They can go and get it.
Can they? Because we need it table, because that is...
Honorable Chair, before he leaves, you know, we were talking about whoever received the seeds from the company or the tender, and whoever was issuing the seeds from the warehouse, because they were specific based on your research. If it was going to Kaplamai, there is a form that was filled by the person in charge going to the specific ward so that we escalate from the person in charge to the ward. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. So if they have it, we'll be glad to have it.
That information is there.
So how long do you need to bring that information? It's important to tell. So I assume that then you have the list that will indicate the dates when seeds were taken, for instance, to Machewa, Virunda, Katudi, Sabata, Mbai, Mbao, with the numbers, with the specific numbers. Namwichula, Halwenge, all those places.
We have all of them.
A distribution chain.
It's here, we have. Of course, there are 25 files.
Yes.
Because I've got 25 wards. And some wards have got more like 2-3 files because there are 2-3 venues.
So do you need time? Do you want to table them now, or do you need how much time do you need to bring those documents?
They're just in the vehicle. They can be brought.
Yes, I think rather than be brought then.
You know, the problem is we are not told the required documents. You look at the questions, Chair. So that's fairly straightforward. This information, this information, this information. But now these particular details, you know, if we're told now come with this and this and this, we'll not be having this, we'll be having all this information.
So let him avail those documents as we proceed. Senator, any other question?
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Senator Abbas.
You see, was there a public consultation when you distributing the seeds? What criteria do you use? Are you giving it to everybody, or you give it to specific farmers?
As I said,
Are you doing it to groups?
No. We use the poverty index to identify the number of eligible people for this seat in Tanzania. One of our guiding principles was that we'll give farmers who have a maximum of 0.2 acres. We call them Mutembei. The 2 kgs of maize seed would comfortably be planted on 0.2. So prior to the distribution of these seeds, we had identified there would be beneficiaries. And the numbers were huge. Because some places we get around 10,000 people, 15,000 people. When we issue this seed, and outside they will think it's a very chaotic assignment, but they don't know that a lot of planning has gone into it. We know our people. We know who is eligible, and we know who is not eligible. So it was not just like you call a random distribute seed. That's why we've got a list of beneficiaries.
Governor, just on that question, I think it's good to clarify. Where did you get the poverty index for Tanzania? Because there's none.
Kipra.
Because there's none. Where do you get disaggregated to the wards? How do you determine poor people in Tanzania? And does it mean that if you own half an acre or 0.2 acres, as you say, then you are poor? Because there are people who own half an acre and are richer than those who own 10 acres.
Mr. Chairman, those of us who grew in the village, you don't need that to be a poor person. But there are people who think that poverty is an academic exercise. So you engage in those kind of arguments. But a person who is poor, you go to the village, just this person is poor. And that's what we're talking about. A person having 0.2 acres of land, and he has got 10 children, he has got a wife, he's about to share that same piece of land with the children who are married. You know, poverty out there doesn't need indicators, academic indicators. It just need, it's known. I feel like we're talking about 38% poverty index. But you look at other authorities, again they talk of 60%. So basically, like every little small-scale farmer in Tanzania is poor. If it were for me, I wouldn't even do targeting. And if I had money, I'd just buy seed and distribute to everyone.
Governor, I'm asking this because I personally distribute seed. I buy and distribute.
I'm sure you struggle with means testing, even the way she struggle with means testing.
Except the money in my pocket. But let me answer the question.
Yes.
What was the threshold of poverty that your team used in seed distribution? Or did you involve, I think it's talking about public works, did you involve the ward administrators and other levels of administration to identify people who are poor?
There is a criteria that is contained. It's on page 4. I read it. The criteria is there, eligibility criteria.
Through the chair, I'm looking at the criteria and the good minister is here. It says, your report, selection of beneficiaries was conducted through a thorough vetting process by designated ward selection committees. If I stop at that and ask through the governor, do you have minutes of the planning as a minister, the planning for the distribution of those seats at the county level, the minutes of that thing, and then escalate that to the minutes of formalizing or formulating these committees which you are in charge to formulate? And where were they done? And at what time? And then we proceed from that. When did you officially appoint these people? And that now comes to the question. Where, Governor, when you are talking us through that, it was announced in various platforms. I'd like to see if you have copies of notification to the chiefs that you have indicated, to the ward administrators as you've indicated, to the representatives of the county assembly like my good friend who is here. If we can get those notices of notification that this is the process that's going to be done. We have those minutes and that through the governor.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, proceed, the governor. Proceed.
Mr. Chair, we appear to be addressing issues we do not know. What is the issue? Are we saying that we don't distribute seed? Are we saying that we gave to the wrong people? Are we saying that we didn't buy seed? Because we need to know what the issue is. What is the issue that we are responding to? When we look at our individuals, these are just general statements. When we go into the specifics, what is, was there a complaint? What is the issue? So that we really know the background, so that we respond when we talk about. Because what the member is talking about, it gives the employers a set way of distributing maize seed in Kenya. So you must have this committee, you must have this one. What authority is it quoting? So we need to know what the issue is, what are the issues.
Through the chair, let me just go through this. Page 4 of the submissions of eligibility criteria. Small scale landowners who are poor, widows, youth, persons with disability, and all that. Selection of beneficiaries was conducted through vetting process by designated ward selection committees.
Yes.
So the question I asked for the first time is, where are the minutes of these ward selection committees as they were doing the vetting exercise? That is my point number 1.
Let us note that one.
May I proceed?
What the minutes of what committees?
The ward selection committees.
Yes.
And if the vetting was done, the minutes must indicate those people they vetted. Because it must translate into the list of beneficiaries of the seats that you procured. Okay? And I've equally asked good Waziri to give us, if she has the minutes, because you have the authority, the first meeting of planning for the distribution of these seats to the ward, if you have those minutes, so that it cascades down to the beneficiary of the seats.
Through the chair, yes we do.
Proceed. Do you have them? You can table them.
The minutes of what selection committees? Which files?
They were appointed by the CCM.
Yes.
Yes, so let's have the minutes of their proceedings so that we then can identify those beneficiaries. I'm sure they did. And Governor, you're asking, what are we looking for? We are not looking for anything. We are doing oversight over your processes as by the mandate of this committee. So I don't think we should be worried. And just to are you have another question? Governor, Mr. Bass, Senator, do you have any other question?
Maybe line is actually on the same line. Honorable Speaker, Governor. You know, when you are visiting these kind of foods, cities, and every votes, there must be a public policy where the receiving people, you have some evidence of where you have delivered, or there are photos or anything, that's what matters, where you met.
Chair, we have got all that information. And I said the documents we have are valid because the committees are per ward, and we have got 25 of them. We have all the information here for all the wards, the minutes, the list of beneficiaries per ward we have. And we are going to table all of them.
Governor,
if you check on your page 53,
proceed.
You look at page 3, it's appointment. This is how appointments were done. To ward.
Sorry, which page?
5.3. That's an example of one guy who was appointed and later failed. My then MCS representative. This was on the 17th of July 2024. Chair, if you can allow to read the appointment letter.
Proceed.
Like now this appointment letter,
Proceed.
appointment to ward subcon for subcon committee for scheduled crop Fukuza Nja initiative. The county government of Trans Nzoia Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Corporate Development is implementing the Fukuza Nja initiative. The program is aimed at promoting food security in the county by promoting adoption and use of certified maize seeds by small-scale farmers. The program involves identification of beneficiaries, training of farmers, distribution of certified maize seed, and monitoring and evaluation. The purpose of this letter is to communicate the decision to appoint you as a ward-level committee member for Fukuza Nja initiative for a period of 1 year from the date of this appointment. Your duty shall be to attend Fukuza Nja initiative ward-level committee meetings, help in identification and vetting of beneficiaries in accordance with the set out guidelines, conduct regular monitoring and evaluation, give reports on the progress of the agricultural programs in your ward. I wish you well as you advance services for this great county. This letter is signed by Arthur Fanis Laliaka, the county executive committee member for agriculture. And then on the next page, page 5, there's a sample of the minutes. Of the meetings that were held, you can go through and see what it talks about. And this applies to all the wards. And we're going to supply appointment letters for all the members, the committee minutes, and distribution lists for the beneficiaries, because we have all of them.
Yes, Senator.
Chair, through you, I think, as the governor had mentioned earlier before, that the 7 days was not enough for him to organize documents, more documents that should be submitted. Maybe for the documents that are not present, I'm just praying if the governor can be given time to table those documents.
Yes, he has not said whether he has the minutes of all the 25 wards, or the 25 committees that were appointed.
We have.
And if he has all the list of all the beneficiaries.
We have.
And you have all details, all bank statements that paid Kenya Seed, that was procured.
Yes.
And you have all the details, all those who got the IDs, you have all those.
All that.
And
you can even have a sample.
And you might even say you've also brought them.
If needed, they can be brought.
I will request through the chair that even the list, samples of the list of beneficiaries should be forwarded.
Yes, even the list of beneficiaries.
It's not a sample. It's a complete
The
list.
actual list.
The actual list of the beneficiaries we have.
It's very encouraging to have the entire list. We'll need those lists presented.
Yes. So the governor, you will present them now, or will you ask for time?
Need copies of the lists or originals?
We need the original list because they will be made. We need copy. We need to have them presented as per the
Because now
legible
we are having
legible documents.
We-
They should be.
we are having an annual audit
Yes.
that just started last week,
Chair, I think I'll advise eligible.
and I'm sure they're going to require
Even this one is not
this.
eligible actually. This one is actually not a proper.
Should be legible. Yeah, because we need to have legible documents so that we don't come around. Because we look at as long as they're properly marked.
Chair, I would request that you give us a list of all the documents that you need, so that when you go back to Kitale, we just prepare all bundles and have them delivered here.
Yes, Mr. Senator Abbas.
Yes, Chair, I think, as you rightly said, the Chair, the governor said, the Secretary can write all those things, all the articles that we require, or they can bring it, especially with a short time. One other question I have is that, Honorable Governor, what is your long-term plan for SIP? Because now that you have this program, one day we think, and you cannot be able to be spending a lot of money on this, spending 100 million shillings, right? And what is your plan for seed banking and seed questions? Do you have a land for seed banking?
Chair, when county government decides to buy seed for farmers, and it generates a lot of excitement among the farmers, it goes to explain the level of poverty among the people, especially food poverty. We've given ourselves another maybe 2 years, because even now it's a lot of progress, a lot of improvement. There's a lot of food security at the household level now. Actually, we're planning to do a bit of also subsidizing fertilizer, so that we really produce enough food. So once we are satisfied that our farmers can really now produce food and therefore start engaging in other economic activities, we're going to stop this, because even tokenism doesn't really last. It appears to be tokenism really, but we're just saying, so once they're stable and they can stand on their own 2 feet, they can go to the shop and buy their own seed. We'll be good to go.
And now that you're talking about sustainability, it's important, just a follow-up question. Did you follow up, did your CCM and team follow up to find out, 1, whether the seeds germinated, 2, whether they are ready in the field, and 3, whether there are proper follow-up mechanisms that you intend to, as it were, M&D, whether you want to be following up this program as a continuous program of the county, or was it just a one-off?
It's not a one-off program, because you can't fight poverty in just 1 year. So it's a long-term program. Actually, we're going to focus on this for my first time in office, this past 5 years. Provision of seed is going to be key. But Chair, I want to beg you, because you guys are Chakorogewa, Nairobi, Why can't you find time and come to Kitale? Just come to Trans Nzoia.
You want us to visit the farms?
Please.
The governor?
Please, I can even facilitate it. Just come to the ground. Sort of it's an academic exercise just being done somewhere. Just come and see for yourself, especially now. Just come. Because we're looking as if this something just happened somewhere in the air, the beneficiaries are not there, you know, Kenya seat maybe is not there. Please come to the ground.
Sure.
Yes, Senator.
I think I want to tell the governor that the Senate has enough money to go to the field. They cannot be presented. We don't need presentation. However, it's good to go visit the place to see at least how farmers appreciate the program.
The governor, understanding Order 228, we are well resourced, so we can arrange. This committee can determine the mode of conducting its proceedings. We can decide after hearing you and after going through all these voluminous documents to visit, to actually come and see some of the farms. I have noted that in some pages, I think there are people who signed for others. I've seen, for instance, this is Napiswa. Napiswa, I can see that Colin Nasimiyu, Kutuhulu, and Alubina Naliaka Simiyu have the same ID number. They are both widows and they have the same signature. For instance, so these are the concerns which you may not know, and which the CCM may not even know. And that brings me to the question: was this program foolproof? Can you speak for this program, or are there people who received seeds for other people, or people who are not poor who came in and received seeds for other people?
Chair, the standards that you are holding me to, you can't even hold yourselves to.
No, my list of no double standards.
Because really you can get one person maybe getting to, you know, those things we must make a provision for them. One person can sign for the other, really it happens. But if you want to come to Trans Nzoia, don't take too much time, because this maize is not just stagnant, it's growing. You come around October, you find no maize. You never harvested. So please come in this month of June, July, and even just see the beauty of Trans Nzoia in terms of maize. The plantations and plantations of small-scale farmers, but it may look like just like plantations, but they're different, only by different small-scale farmers.
Through the chair, number 4 of the submissions on, not near page number 4 on the eligibility, the acreage was there: widow, elderly persons with disability, resource poor individuals, selection here. That is page 4. Now I want us to go to page 53, the minutes that we just read, and look at what was introduced, and then that one will inform us to ask a question which I'll bring later. The chair gave out guidelines and criteria to be used for those to benefit from seed maize as follows. 1, should be a resident of Saboti Ward.
Which page?
Mine reads 53. Mine reads 53.
The fourth.
Yes, of the governor's submission.
53.
Yes, page 53. Mine is 53. I think we have an issue with the numbering. Are we all there? So the minute says, the chair gave out guidelines and criteria to be used for those to benefit from seed maize as follows. Should be a resident of Saboti Ward, at least have 0.1 of an acre of land, should either be of the above persons, should be one who can acquire fertilizer for the farm. Now, when the minister was giving directions up here, there was no criteria that they should acquire fertilizer to the farm. Because a poor person without the capacity cannot be able to buy. Then it brings me to my other question. In the financial preparation of planning, was there any money set aside for fertilizer subsidy fertilizer for the farmers? And if so, how was it used? And how were the beneficiaries found? Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Governor.
Chair, before the governor responds, please.
There are too many questions.
The Governor, hold on before Senator.
Yes, I am chairing another ICT committee. Yes. Just begging to step out.
So, Senator, do you have any remarks or any questions or any clarification you need from the Governor before you leave? So you can take up that question together with.
No, Chair, I think I am just a friend of the committee, and I believe the committee has their own mandates. So I think I was just begging for, as I was saying, I was just begging for, of course, fairness in whatever is being prosecuted. But I thank you.
Senator, I hear you to say that we are fair in our proceedings and that you're happy with the proceedings. Thank you. We are very fair. The Senator is agreeing, we are very fair.
Let me go on record and say I acknowledge you're very fair.
Yes, that's our DNA. Governor, proceed.
The criteria, the first criteria is talking about 0.1. I want to believe it's a typo. Because the criteria is very clear and it's done through a circular. 2 kg.
Excuse me, Governor. Now that you've mentioned about a circular, can Waziri provide that circular that she delivered to the ward administrators and the ward agricultural officers? That circular in particular.
Yes, I'll supply it in a few.
Please
We have
proceed.
it. Thank you.
So, in terms of your fertilizer can also be manure. You know, you don't just plant beans. You don't have artificial fertilizer. You can get. How much is it?
I think we are dealing with a very serious matter. That's why I generated the next question. Because here it means they can procure their own fertilizer. And procuring is a process. It's if it were in our culture, then you could have advised them just to walk to the nearby farm if one has no animal. But now my question was specific. This procurement aspect of fertilizer, why did the minister put it here and not on the circular? And I want that circular here.
We just encouraging farmers that whenever you give a certified seed and you plant it without fertilizer, you're not going to get the 6 bags of maize that we are telling you. We may get 3, not because the seed was bad, but because we not give it enough nutrients.
Governor.
It's not like just a fast rule cast in stone.
My good governor. It is not for the person to feel motivated by that sentence. That's why there was something called public participation and involvement of the chief, the Ikuru, the ward agriculture officer. If it were in their minutes, we will see clearly they being motivated to look for an option to do that. That's why I'm raising this concern and asking our good Waziri, give us the memo that came from your office to guide. And in fact, it now brings me to, do you even have a policy that guides this farming? Yes.
Can we go maybe question by question? Because there are many questions at the same time.
You can respond to each.
At the same time.
How many do you have? You have about, you can disaggregate. Start with the first one.
You know, we say we are procuring seed for poor people, seed. So you cannot give a condition that you must be able to acquire fertilizer. It's self-defeating. If you cannot buy seed, how can you buy fertilizer? So our focus is seed. And we're talking about seed. It's got nothing to do. This one is a misplaced statement by a chairman. We should be held personally accountable for doing these minutes because no one knows what they were told. It's not a requirement. And Chair, please get it from me because I'm the guest in charge of that county and I know what I'm doing there. I've not made any requirement for fertilizer as a precondition for getting maize seed. It's not there.
Maize can grow in Trans Nzoia without fertilizer.
You can boost it with manure. Yeah, and actually we are moving away from some of these artificial fertilizers like DAP. The national government put 76 million shillings on the budget for fertilizer in Trans Nzoia. It was supposed to be a conditional grant. It was on our budget. We never saw a single cent. If we had gotten that money, we would have been able to supply both seed and fertilizer. And we'd be in a better place. Not be talking about 3 years, be talking about 2 years. To sufficiency of food security at the household level.
So maybe we can move to the next question, the policy question.
Let me just take members through. And I will request now that governors stepped in to say that is an erroneous requirement, that the county government now submits to us the other minutes, and I want the Secretariat, can you check all the other minutes if that sentence appears on the criteria for the seat. Now, looking at, according to the 2009 county fact sheet democratic data, Trans Nzoia County had a total population of 990,341, with 811 residing in rural areas. Down there, finally, in terms of agricultural engagement, 129 households were involved in crop production, 96,800 households in livestock production, and 6,636 households participated in other farming-related activities. Now, having that statement that either one can procure fertilizer or they can apply manure, from an informed point of view as a ministry, what are the numbers of the poor farmer who has manure, based on the latest survey that you've done, that can now encourage manure to be applied on 2 kilograms of seedlings?
Governor, did you bother to find out who was manure, or you just gave seed? I think that's the long and short of the question. And then the policy question, respond to the policy question that was.
You know, Chairman, the problems of the rural farmers are very many. As a county, we are addressing one now, which is seed. We give you seed. If you're going to get artificial fertilizer, get manure and plant with it, so be it. But we have given you seed, go and plant. Because the problem was, they were not even planting certified seed. They'll get this year's harvest, get the best product, put it on some fireside, not be able to dry it properly. The following year they plant it. And production is going down, down, down. So we stepped in as government to provide certified seed. All these other things are also important. Fertilizer is important, manure is important. But for us, it's not our main concern. The main concern is to reach as many farmers as possible in terms of certified seed. And we're struggling. This year we did very well because Kenya Seed had previously quoted the price of 690. Which through government intervention, they were able to revise it downward to 420, enabling us to procure almost double. So we reached very many farmers, but not all of them. We want to strive to reach as many farmers as possible, just in terms of certified maize seed first. Then now we'll say as a county, if we can now start coming in terms of fertilizer. Even if they are just provided with 2 kilos or 4 kilos. Because not very many farmers can actually procure fertilizer. Even the subsidy by the government, you supply fertilizer, you put it in a store, and just 2 farmers, big ones, they'll come and clear everything. One farmer wants to go and pick 1 bag of fertilizer, traveling 20 kilometers, really it's not economical. So that was not just going to like it.
Sure. Let me ask you a question just to so are you saying that your fertilizer initiative aligns well with the bottom-up transformation initiative?
The seed.
So you are
the seed initiative aligns well with that better.
So you actually ascribe.
I want the national government.
Transformation.
I want the national government to come to Trans Nzoia and benchmark that indeed is possible, even for this bottom-up economic transformation agenda, to provide even free fertilizer. All counties in the world subsidy farmers.
Which you believe in now.
Chair.
Even before reading that blueprint.
Excellent. But now wait again. What is the total acreage that was planted, the seed that you gave? What total acreage was planted
Kagai, can
under that seed? I think that's an important question.
the crops guy can respond?
Yes,
So that's for the information.
and what is the projected food target? What is the projected production that you as a county expect out of that initiative?